Right, we're going to look at doing this nut and bolt story over here. I've given you this sheet over here which has a couple of calculations, etc. I'm going to do those calculations before I start and then move through this thing. To start with, they've given you an M22. I'm going to write that over there, M22. And at the end of the day, that 22 is a 22 millimeter diameter. The 22 millimeter diameter that they're talking about is this one over here. It is labeled M. You can see I highlighted that. You might want to do that on your sheet. So that 22 millimeter diameter, that is going to influence all the other calculations that we do in order to get all the other information about this nut and bolt. M22, the first thing that I want to calculate is to calculate this circle over here. The diameter of that circle, what we do there is we say 22 from my M multiplied by 1.5. And that is going to give us, well, let's pop it onto a calculator. 22 multiplied by 1.5, which is equal to 33 millimeters. Okay, that is a diameter. So I've got a diameter of 33 millimeters for that bigger circle over there that has the sides of the hexagon on. Right, just going to divide that in 2. Divide by 2 is equal to 16.5. So I've got a radius of 16.5, which I'm going to use for that. Let's get going with figuring out what this little circle in here is. Okay, if you look down over here, you'll see that it says M multiplied by 0.1, showing me how thick that thread is. Okay, so I say 22 multiplied by 0.1, which is equal to 2.2 millimeters. My thread is equal to 2.2 millimeters. That's from my calculation of 0.1 multiplied by my 22. Everybody happy with that? Right. Okay, the thread, I've got thread on this side and I've got thread on that side. So what is the diameter going to be for this circle in here? I obviously have my 2.2 plus another 2.2, which gives me 4.4 millimeters, which I need to take away in order to get this diameter over here. I say 22 minus 4.4, which is equal to 17.6. So this little circle in here is going to have a diameter of 17.6. Divide that by 2, and I end up with an 8.8 millimeter going across there. So that's another little calculation that I need. 8.8 radius for the thread. Thread is 8.8. Right, okay, once I've got those calculations, let's go and start drawing. First we're going to do is a couple of center lines. You use a 0.3 pencil and you draw a center line just at the top over here. 0.3 pencil, center line over there. And I start out and I say, well, what is the diameter that I'm using? It is a 22 millimeter circle. So I can take my pair of compasses and I can draw a 22 millimeter circle using a radius of 11. There we go. My 11 millimeters. And I draw in the shaft of the bolt. I say to you that I've got a radius of 16.5. Measure of 16.5 to draw the circle that I'm going to draw all my tangents to. There we go. And once I've got that, I go back and I'm going to draw the thread, which has a radius of 8.8 millimeters. You'll see over here that I draw a circle and I don't complete that circle. Okay, it's got a little gap showing that I've got a break in the thread for that thread to engage. These three circles, that circle, they are done as dark 0.5 millimeter lead. This circle on the inside is a 0.3 millimeter lead that we should be using there. There should be a distinct difference between those circles. Right. Once I've got that, I then take my set square and I draw just a construction line at the bottom there, construction line at the top there, making a tangent to the circle. And then I can take my set square and I can draw a line going down at 60 degrees over there, at a tangent to that circle, a line at 60 degrees going down there, a line at 60 degrees going at a tangent to that circle, a line at 60 degrees going up there, and I can then finish off that hexagonal bolt like that. Right, that's the first video that I need to do. I will do the next video showing you how you're going to use that information in order to draw this part over here.